A wave of tension rippled across the Middle East when urgent reports began emerging that Iranian missiles had been launched toward one of Israel's most strategically important military installations, the powerful Nevatim Air Base. Within minutes, the news started spreading across international media networks, triggering a surge of speculation, analysis, and concern among governments and military observers around the world. Iranian state media quickly declared the operation a success. According to officials in Tehran, the missiles were part of a deliberate strike aimed at a critical Israeli military target. Commentators on Iranian television described the attack as a demonstration of Iran's growing missile capabilities, claiming that their weapons had successfully reached the base and caused damage to important infrastructure. If those claims were true, the implications would be enormous. Nevatim is not just another military facility hidden in Israel's southern desert. It is widely regarded as one of the central pillars of Israel's air power, a base closely associated with advanced aircraft, long-range operations, and some of the most sensitive elements of the Israeli Air Force's strategic planning. That is precisely why the reports immediately captured global attention. A missile strike against a base of this importance would represent far more than a tactical event. It would signal something deeper, that the confrontation between Iran and Israel may have crossed into a far more dangerous phase. To understand why the reported strike triggered such immediate global concern, it is important to look more closely at the target itself. Nevatim Air Base is not just another installation within Israel's military network. Located deep in the Negev desert in southern Israel, it is widely regarded as one of the most critical operational hubs of the Israeli Air Force. From this remote desert location, some of Israel's most advanced aircraft are deployed and maintained. The base supports multiple fighter squadrons and serves as a key platform for long-range air operations that extend far beyond Israel's borders. Surveillance missions, strategic reconnaissance, and complex aerial coordination are often managed through facilities based at Nevatim. For that reason, the base represents far more than a collection of runways and hangars. It is a vital node in Israel's broader military architecture, a place where advanced technology, intelligence capabilities, and operational planning converge. Military analysts often describe Nevatim as one of the pillars supporting Israel's air dominance in the region. The base is designed to sustain high-tempo operations and to support aircraft capable of operating across vast distances, allowing Israel to project power far beyond its immediate surroundings. That strategic importance explains why the reported strike drew such intense scrutiny. Any missile attack directed at Nevatim is immediately viewed as a challenge to one of the most sensitive components of Israel's defense system, a signal that the confrontation between Iran and Israel may be entering a far more dangerous phase. According to Iranian officials, the missile launch was not simply an isolated military action. In Tehran's narrative, the strike carried a broader strategic message directed not only at Israel, but at the entire region. Iranian media quickly broadcast statements from military commanders describing the operation as a precise and calculated strike against a high-value Israeli target. Multiple long-range missiles, they claimed, were launched towards southern Israel with the specific objective of hitting Nevatim Air Base, a location chosen because of its critical role within Israel's military infrastructure. Within hours, Iranian commentators began framing the event as a turning point in the ongoing confrontation between the two rivals. According to their reports, several missiles successfully reached the base and damaged parts of the facility. If accurate, such an outcome would represent a powerful demonstration of Iran's growing missile capabilities. But beyond any physical damage, the message Iran appeared eager to send was psychological and strategic. By claiming the ability to reach one of Israel's most important air bases, Iranian officials sought to reinforce the idea that even the most heavily protected military installations inside Israel are not beyond the reach of Iranian weapons. In strategic terms, this kind of messaging plays a key role in deterrence. For Tehran, presenting the strike as successful sends a clear signal. Its missile forces are capable of threatening high-value targets deep inside Israeli territory. Whether fully accurate or not, the narrative itself is meant to reshape the balance of fear in the region and suggest that the confrontation between Iran and Israel may be entering a far more dangerous phase. But as Iran continued presenting the strike as a major military success, Israeli officials quickly released a very different version of events. According to Israel's defense authorities, the country's air defense network detected the incoming missiles long before they could reach their intended targets. Israel operates a sophisticated, multi-layered missile defense system designed to intercept threats at different stages of flight. Long-range radar systems constantly monitor the skies for potential launches across the region. Once an incoming missile is detected, interception systems can be activated within seconds. Israeli officials said that this is exactly what happened during the incident involving Nevatim Air Base. As soon as the missile launches were identified, defensive batteries were placed on high alert, and interceptors were launched to neutralize the threats. According to Israeli reports, several of the incoming missiles were intercepted while still in the air, preventing them from reaching the base itself. Defense authorities emphasized that the core infrastructure of Nevatim remained intact and fully operational after the incident. Some debris from intercepted missiles may have fallen in nearby areas, but Israeli officials insisted that there was no catastrophic damage to the installation. This version of events was quickly echoed by several U.S. media outlets citing defense sources. Reports suggested that Israel's defensive systems worked as intended and prevented what could have been a far more serious situation. Within hours, two sharply different narratives had emerged, one portraying a successful strike, the other describing a defended target. And between those competing accounts, the true sequence of events remained far from clear. As the two sharply different accounts continued circulating across global media, it quickly became clear that the confrontation surrounding Nevatim Air Base was unfolding on more than just a military level. It had also become a battle over perception. In modern conflicts, controlling the narrative can be almost as important as controlling territory. Each side understands that public perception, both domestically and internationally, plays a powerful role in shaping the strategic environment. For Iran, portraying the strike as a success carries significant value. By claiming that its missiles reached one of Israel's most important air bases, Tehran reinforces the image of growing missile capability and sends a message that Israeli military infrastructure is not untouchable. Even the suggestion that such a target can be reached helps strengthen Iran's broader strategy of deterrence. Israel, on the other hand, has an equally strong incentive to emphasize the effectiveness of its defensive systems. By asserting that the incoming missiles were detected early and intercepted before impact, Israeli officials reinforce confidence in their multi-layered missile defense network and reassure the public that critical military assets remain protected. As these competing narratives spread, military analysts and independent observers began searching for objective evidence that could clarify what actually occurred. Satellite imagery, radar data, and damage assessments often play a crucial role in verifying claims made during conflicts. But such analysis takes time. In the immediate aftermath of the incident, the reality remained uncertain. What was undeniable, however, was that the strike on Nevatim had triggered not only a military confrontation, but also an intense war of narratives. Beyond the conflicting narratives, the events surrounding Nevatim Air Base reveal something even larger, the technological duel that now defines modern warfare. At its core, the confrontation between Iran and Israel is not only about strategy or territory. It is also a race between increasingly advanced offensive weapons and the defensive systems designed to stop them. Iran has spent decades investing heavily in missile technology. Its arsenal includes a range of ballistic missiles capable of traveling long distances at high speeds, designed specifically to threaten strategic targets across the region. These weapons are built to move quickly, follow unpredictable trajectories, and in some cases overwhelm defensive systems by arriving in large numbers. Israel, meanwhile, has focused on building one of the most sophisticated missile defense architectures in the world. Its multi-layered system is designed to intercept threats at different stages of flight, from long-range ballistic missiles high in the atmosphere to shorter-range threats descending toward populated areas or strategic installations. Radar networks continuously scan the skies for launches across the region. Once a missile is detected, interception systems calculate the trajectory and determine the precise moment to engage. Interceptor missiles are then launched to destroy the incoming threat before it can reach its target. The reported strike on Nevatim illustrates this technological contest perfectly. On one side are offensive missile systems designed to penetrate defenses. On the other are defensive networks engineered to stop them within seconds. In many ways, modern conflicts are increasingly defined by this ongoing competition between attack and interception. As details of the Nevatim incident continued emerging, governments and analysts around the world began watching the situation with growing concern. A missile strike directed at a strategic military installation is never just a local event. It carries implications that extend far beyond the immediate battlefield. When two major regional powers exchange missile attacks, the risk of escalation rises quickly. Even if defensive systems prevent major damage, the act of launching the missiles itself signals a willingness to target critical military infrastructure. That alone can change how both sides calculate their next move. Regional governments immediately began monitoring the situation closely. Many countries in the Middle East understand that tensions between Iran and Israel have the potential to spill over into a much wider confrontation. Any miscalculation could trigger retaliatory strikes, drawing additional actors into the conflict. Financial markets were also paying attention. Although the reported strike targeted a military facility rather than energy infrastructure, instability in the Middle East often creates ripple effects across the global economy. Energy traders and investors closely track developments in the region because disruptions can influence oil prices and international trade. At the same time, diplomatic channels quietly became more active. In moments like this, international leaders often urge restraint behind closed doors, hoping to prevent a cycle of retaliation that could spiral into something far more dangerous. For the global community, the concern is not just about what happened at Nevatim. The deeper question is whether the incident represents an isolated exchange or the beginning of a more volatile phase in an already fragile regional balance. As analysts continue examining satellite images, radar data, and official statements, one question remains at the center of the global discussion. Was the reported strike on Nevatim Air Base a turning point, or simply another episode in a long and dangerous rivalry? Iran maintains that its missiles proved an important point, that even Israel's most strategic military assets can be threatened. Israel, on the other hand, insists that its defensive systems performed exactly as designed, intercepting the incoming threats and protecting the base from serious damage. The truth may ultimately emerge through careful analysis. But regardless of which version proves more accurate, the incident itself highlights a critical reality about modern conflicts. Power today is measured not only by the ability to strike, but also by the ability to defend. Advanced missiles, complex defense systems, and rapid response technologies are shaping a new era of warfare, where seconds can determine the outcome of entire operations. In such an environment, even a single attempted strike can reshape military planning and strategic thinking. Perhaps the most important lesson from events like this is how fragile regional stability can be. Moments of escalation can emerge quickly and carry consequences far beyond the battlefield. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to follow the channel and stay tuned for more in-depth analysis as this rapidly evolving situation continues to unfold.